Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is on the chapter web pages. So what do the chapter web pages look like? What do they do? Where do you find them? And what can you do to customize them so that you can really make them your own personal websites for your chapter? You can put your own pictures up there. You can put your own events up there. Talk about things that are happening in your chapter, maybe even put a top 10 most wanted list up on your chapter website. All of this stuff you can do through BNI Connect. Some of it does require special permissions, but I'll show you how this all works. And if you have the permissions, you can jump in right away. And if not, you can always talk to your regional office, your director consultant, or your executive director who will be able to assign you the permissions to do so. Before we get started on today's webinar, just a couple of things. This is a live webinar, so if you have any questions whatsoever as we're going through the material today, please do feel free to ask those questions. The best way to do that is to type your question into the question panel. I'll see that pop up on my screen, and I'll be able to answer that as we're going through the webinar today. The second thing is that we are scheduled for about 30 minutes worth of content. I like to try to be as respectful as possible with everybody's time out there. I know you all have busy days and lots of things to do, so I'd like you to be able to get back to your businesses on time. That being said, I am happy to stay on these webinars as long as you need to. So while we may finish with the content in 30 minutes, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, I will be happy to stick around. This is what I do all day, every day, is answer BNI Connect questions, and I'm happy to do that with some live people as opposed to just via email. We are recording this webinar as well, so if you need to review it later or refer back to it or even share it with a friend that is thinking about becoming a chapter webmaster, you can do that. You'll be able to find it in a couple of different places. The easiest place to find it is on the support site, support.bniconnect.com. You can get there by clicking this question mark here in the upper right-hand corner when you're logged into BNI Connect. That will take you to this support site. You'll see our list of upcoming webinars. And then if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see chapter training and documentation. And in there, you'll see the recorded webinars, which are slotted out month by month by month. If you click on the April 2015, all of our webinars are in there. And pretty soon, usually within a day or so, we'll have this chapter web pages one from today will be uploaded there as well. You can also go directly to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. This has all of our recorded content. So it includes, of course, the webinars, but it also includes things like educational moments, short 3 to 5 minute videos just on specific items. Some special announcements by Dr. Meisner, all sorts of stuff up there. So please do go have a look up there. That would be great. If you subscribe, you'll be notified as new webinars are uploaded. Let's take a look at today's content, though. Again, we're going to be talking about the chapter websites. Now, the chapter websites are part of the regional websites. So every chapter in existence, every chapter out there that's part of BNI and part of BNI Connect has their very own chapter website. And they are created automatically in the system using a template. So whether or not you're using it or whether or not you realize it was there, it is there. So let's just take a quick look. I'm going to go up to antarcticreferrals.com. This is my test region up in Antarctica in BNI Connect. And if I was to, let's say, go to find a chapter, let's say I'm browsing around and I'm looking for chapters to go visit in Antarctica, I can take a look at any of these chapters. Let's take a look at this Frozen Assets chapter. That looks like an interesting group. There's not really any members in that group. Probably don't want to visit that one. Let's take a look at maybe the BNI Burr chapter. That's a nice active group. Got 24 members there. I can see all the members listed. And if I'd like to, I can go visit the chapter website. Now, this chapter website is customizable, so you can do things like embed videos. Your chapter speakers are going to automatically be displayed there. Your meeting location and your time and your chapter leadership is going to be displayed automatically. Your list of chapter members, this is automatically pulled from BNI Connect, and as they fill out their profiles in BNI, then that will be included on here as well. So, for example, if I were to click on Alfred E. Newman, you can see that he has his My Business filled out, he has his phone number filled out, his logo, things like that. Whereas, let's take a look, let's see, Marky Mark here from the Funky Bunch, he hasn't yet filled out his profile. So he's missing out on an advertising opportunity. Now, the great thing about it, and what always used to be hard about chapter websites before BNI Connect, is that somebody had to put a lot of effort into constantly updating the site. So as Marky Mark got his information together and said, oh, yeah, here's the info. Can you upload it? Here's my picture. Can you upload it? Oh, there's a spelling error. Now that happens automatically. So the members, whenever they update their information, so if Marky Mark logs into BNI Connect, he goes into his profile, he updates his profile with his business description and his picture. The website is automatically updated. So a lot of this information that you're seeing here is pulled automatically from BNI Connect. Now, I had done some modifications on that one. Let me just go back here and let me show you one that's completely and totally out of the box, no modifications. Oh, no, looks like I already modified that one on a previous webinar as well. Let's check out this one. Here we go. Here's a cold hard cache, and this particular website, again, has not been modified at all. This is what your chapter website will look like if you have not done any changes to it whatsoever. But again, all of this stuff in here, the stuff on the left is pulled from BNI Connect. It's this stuff in the middle where we can start to make some modifications. We can change the picture. We can make this a really long web page. You can update the chapter news, and there's also a chapter photo gallery. For example, let's take a look at a couple of websites where people have done some modifications to them. So there's this one chapter that's called the BNI Rugby chapter. So let me just do a search for it, the BNI Rugby chapter. And this is the first result that comes up, the BNI Warwickshire region. And this is what they've done to their chapter website. You can see they put this little contact us type sidebar on there. Again, it has all their information. They've put a bunch of pictures on their homepage here. What is BNI? Try BNI, a bunch of links everywhere. Information about it. Come and register and visit our chapter. Some testimonials that they've put up on the chapter website here. A message from Dr. Meisner. Their thank you for closed business total. A link to their members pages. I mean, just a ton of information, and it ends with a chapter map as well if you'd like to go and visit them. Of course, it also has their chapter members. This is a common element. They put a nice graphic up at the top, though, and they can click through to any of their chapter members. They also have their chapter gallery and their chapter news page. So again, all of this can be customized. Let's just take a look at one other one. I know there's the BNI Golden Ideas chapter in San Francisco. And let's take a look at this one. And this is what the Golden Ideas chapter has done with their chapter website. So some things that you can see that they've done here are that they have changed their homepage. They put it into more of a two-column format. Their chapter speakers are listed at the bottom. And if we go to their chapter members, they've done something really interesting on this page. Is that they've put in a thing that allows them to view by power teams. Now, this is manual coding that they've done, but they've done it in a way so that they can list their power teams and pull their member profiles by looking at them as power teams. So just a really cool thing that they've done with their chapter website. So really that there are so many possibilities of things that you can do once you get in there and start playing with it. Now, how do we get in and start playing with it? Well, that's all done through what we call the CMS Editor in BNI Connect. CMS does stand for Content Management System, which is really just a way to You don't have to know HTML code to do the basic things. The CMS editor, like WordPress is a CMS editor, will allow you to go in and make modifications to your website with very, very little web knowledge. The place to access this is to go to the Tools menu. So once you're logged into BNI Connect, go to Tools, CMS, Chapter Websites. Now, if you don't have Tools or you don't have CMS, then that means that you don't have the permission yet to modify the websites. You do need to either be on the leadership team, the president, the vice president, the secretary treasurer, or you will need to be a chapter webmaster. So if you're not yet the chapter webmaster, just contact your director consultant, contact your executive director, your regional office, and they can help you out with this. Now, once you are up there, what you'll see is a list of all of the chapter websites that you have access to. You can also, most of the time when you're up there, you'll only have access to only your one chapter, but so you would probably only see one thing in the list here. You can always go to the website by clicking on it. That'll open up a new window, show you what the website currently looks like. I can close out that tab and go back. You can also click the options here. That will bring you into the editing portion of the site. So we're going to modify the cold hard cash chapter today. And again, this was a default out-of-the-box website with absolutely no changes made to it. You'll see here on the left-hand side, these are the pages that we have available to our website that we can edit. We have a home page. So again, if we go to the page, this is our home page. You can see that we also have a chapter members page. This would be our chapter members page. We have these different sub-pages or sections of the chapter members page. So the member details, chapter details, and send message. So again, if I was to click on a member, here's the member page. This is the member details page, and then the chapter details is this page here. So you can edit certain elements of that. We have the gallery and the news. Now, by default, you'll notice that the gallery is hidden. If I go back here, I see a news page, but I don't see a gallery page anywhere. And that's because that page is hidden by default. You can enable it by clicking the Show button. Now, one other thing about this home page here is, and this is just a general CMS concept, is that there's actually two sites. There's the preview site and the live site. Now, the live site is this URL here, the antarcticreferrals.com. This one is what everybody else in the world, or everybody in the world, if they go to the Antarctic Referral site, this is what they're seeing. There's also what we call a preview site. And that's what you'll be working on in the background while you're editing and designing your own website. Now, only when you're ready to show that to the world will the rest of the world see it. And to do that, you would click this Publish button. And what the Publish button does is it takes the temporary copy that you're working on and makes that the live copy. So again, in order to see the changes, you do need to publish your website. Now, before we get into the details of actually editing the site, let's take a look at the other tabs that are up here. We have the Library tab, and we have the Site Information tab. The Library tab is really, it's your storage location for any photos that you want to use on your website. In order to use a photo on your website, you do need to basically put it up into the BNI Connect servers. And you do that by uploading any photos that you have into these libraries. So all I need to do is go into the library and click Upload. From here, I just click the magnifying glass, and I can grab up to 3 photos at a time to upload to my chapter website. I chose 3 by holding down the Control button. I can then click Upload. It uploaded those, and now you can see we have our 3 pictures here that will be ready for use in the chapter website. If I want to add more, I can click Upload, and I can add more in there as well. You can also upload things like documents if you'd like to link for documents for people to download, things like that, as well as Flash objects. I'm just going to upload those images, though, for today. The next tab you have along the top here is the Site Information tab. Now, the important things on this tab are the chapter folder name and the analytics code. The chapter folder name is really, it's your website name. Now, because these sites are automatically generated, so as soon as your chapter launches in BNI Connect, a website is automatically generated for your chapter. But again, because of that, it is using a default naming convention of the name of the region and then the name of your chapter with dashes in between to take up all the spaces. However, that's not a very friendly name. So if I wanted to tell people to go to my chapter website here, I'd be telling them, oh yeah, just go to antarcticreferrals.com/shiver-region-gold-hard-cash. And that's just a mouthful, probably way too much to say. It would be much better to just have this website be antarcticreferrals.com/cold-hard-cash, or maybe even CHC if that's what your chapter is known by. Now you can make this URL anything you want it to be. So if I just wanted this to be, cold hard cash, I could do that. I could also have it be CHC, or really whatever I'd like it to be, as long as it is unique. So that is the one thing, is that it does have to be a unique folder name. Oops, I clicked all the way out of there. The other thing that's important on here is the analytics code. The analytics code, every chapter website, you can sign up for your own analytics account if you'd like to track the clicks and how long people are staying on the site, things like that. You would just copy and paste your JavaScript code right into this field. And, of course, if you make any changes, make sure to click Update. That will bring you back to the page. Now, of course, in order for changes to happen, you do have to publish this site. So if I try to go to the live site right now, so our preview site is working, but if I try to go to our live site, the page isn't going to be found yet because I haven't published those changes. Once I publish these, now the live site with the new URL, cold hard cash, will be working. All right, so I did mention that there is a special page on here, the gallery page, that is hidden by default. In order to show that, you would just click the Show button. Ask me if I want to show this page. I click Submit. Now, the important thing is that you'll notice that a Gallery tab has shown up now. Because the Gallery tab, it's really putting photos up onto the site. So this has its own special gallery to which you can add photo albums. Now you can give the photo album a name, you can give it a description. Description can be as long as you want it to be. And once you have your album created, you can add photos to it. And uploading photos to a gallery is a little bit different because you can only upload these ones one at a time because you have to give them a title each time. But once you get your photos up there, let me go back and let's take I'm going to publish this. What we'll notice is now if I go to the live site, we now have a gallery tab. We have an album with a description about that album. And if I click into the album, you'll see the photos as well. So some chapters have done it kind of as a blog type experience, and that works as well. All right, let's take a look at really the meat and potatoes of this, and that is to how do we actually edit the websites. So we do this, we have, let's say, our home page we're going to go in and edit today. A couple of different options here along the top. You have the edit name. So if you didn't want this page to be called the home page, you want it to be called Our Glorious Chapter, you can change the name of the page. And that will also change the button or the button description up at the top as well. You'll see this now says Our Glorious Chapter. You also want to add some meta tags. This will help you get found in the search engines. And then really we're coming to the main part of it, and that is to edit content. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you didn't catch this, you'll notice that this opens up in a whole new window. What that means is that sometimes if you click this button here for edit content and it looks like nothing's happening, a lot of people have pop-up blockers enabled. If the page is not showing up, just make sure you disable your pop-up blocker temporarily and you'll be able to get into the content for this page. Now, once we're in here, you'll notice it kind of just looks like a Word document. And this is what we call the WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. And you can go in and edit this until your heart's content, and most of it is just the same as editing an actual document. You'll notice some differences. Along the left-hand side, there really isn't anything that we can do. Again, that is because that is pulling the content automatically from BNI Connect and inserting it into that left panel. In addition, you'll notice the chapter speakers area down here. There really isn't much we can do with that section also because, again, that's pulled automatically from the speaker rotation in BNI Connect. Where we're going to be spending our time is in this central section here. Now, for those of you that might be on the line with us today that are actual web designers, that is awesome. Please know that you can directly edit the source code. So if I click on the source code button, you'll notice that you're brought into the HTML. And you can make direct edits in here. So you'll notice our font size just jumped up down there just by making an edit in the source code directly. One thing I also find helpful is that when you're in the source code, this is a great way to back up your site. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll Control-A, Control-C, and then I'll go just drop this into a notepad document. And that way, if I ever want to revert my site back to the way it was, I can just grab this source code and copy and paste it right back into the site. You can also use this maximize button when you're working with source code especially. That you may find it a little bit easier to read that way. However, I don't generally like to use the maximize button when you're in this view because it doesn't give you the dimensions of the actual site. All right, most of these buttons you're going to be familiar with, bold, italic, underline, strike through. You can change the font, although I don't recommend Comic Sans. I recommend Arial because that is the BNI branded font. You can change, as I did before, the font sizes, the colors, the background colors, all of that. So really, a lot of that is exactly the same as it is with just about any other editor. There's some form building tools, but you will need a little bit more advanced coding knowledge for that. The important buttons that are specific just to websites, though, for example, the link button. If you want to hyperlink something, meaning you want to bring somebody to someplace else on the internet or someplace else on the page, you can do that by clicking this chain link icon. So for example, if I wanted BNI to be a hyperlink that brought you to www.bni.com, I would click the link button. I would then put the URL in, www.bni.com, And then anytime, once I publish the site, of course, anytime somebody clicks on that, it would take them off to BNI.com. The other thing you're going to want to do is probably add some pictures or replace pictures. Now let's say I don't like this picture here. I want to replace this. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Then I'm going to use this picture button here, this image button. Browse server, which is going to bring me up to the library. While we're up in the library, we can see the couple of things that I added, the SpongeBob and the vision strategy. And let's put this BNI visitor tag up there. Now this is looking a little bit large, so I'd like to reduce the size a little bit. So I'm going to reduce that to, let's say, 150. Click OK, and now we have our visitor badge. Now, you can also link images to websites and turns them into kind of a button. And you do that just by highlighting the image and clicking, you guessed it, the link button. Let's say I want this one to take us to support.bniconnect.com. There's also some other advanced options on here. You can also choose whether or not this opens in a new window as well. And once you are satisfied with your page, you can always click the preview button up here at the top. That'll kind of take the formatting tools out of it, let you see it how other people are going to see it. And then if you're happy with it, press save. Page saved successfully. Now if I'd like to make more edits, I can, or I can just click close. Now again, my preview site is going to have all these gorgeous changes to it. Nice brown background here with the BNI visitor. If I click on BNI visitor, I can see it does successfully bring me over to the support site. If I click on BNI, because I didn't choose new window, it did bring me right the BNI page right from that link. Oh, sorry about that. Looks like my my chair banged up against the mute button. So what I was just saying was, and that really is the chapter websites in a nutshell. Again, this was kind of a 101 introduction course. That being said, just a reminder, this was recorded. You can find it on the support site, on the YouTube channel. I'd also absolutely love it if you guys gave us a like up on Facebook, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do webinar announcements and reminders and tips and tricks and all sorts of stuff up here as well. So that's a great place to get some information. And of course, a good referral for me is to please let other people know about these webinars. Our very next webinar is going to be tomorrow, Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about the entire visitor process in BNI Connect. All right, does anybody have any questions? Any questions at all? Be happy to answer those questions. Melinda says, I'm in Austin and the whole leadership does not have the tools button. All right, so again, the permissions to do things in BNI Connect, whether it's reports or whether it's access to the CMS Editor or basically everything in BNI Connect, that decision on what you can do is controlled by your regional office. So the best thing to do is to talk to your director consultant, your area director, or your executive director. Just give your regional office a call and they can either explain why it's that way or make the changes necessary in order to give you the permissions that you need. Does that help, Melinda? Susan says, good information. Thank you so much. And you are very, very welcome. All right, let's see. John asks, can we add pages to the chapter website? At this time, you are limited to the pages that are on the screen. So you really only have those pages that are available, the home screen, the chapter details, things like that. Whether or not that is added in the future, I'm not sure. Keep in mind that there are nearly 7,000 chapter web pages that are hosted here in BNI Connect. But as you can see, that rugby chapter, for example, they really did manage to fit a real lot of information just within the framework of what was available. So I hope that helps, John. Awesome. All right, any other questions? Oh, Amy asks, how do you embed a video like you did on that other site? Okay, so Amy, I think you're referring to the Burr chapter. So let me show you how to do that. So let me go back into the chapter websites here. Now, in order to embed video, you do need to actually go into that source code for that. So it is slightly more advanced than just the WYSIWYG editor, but it's really not all that difficult either. So let me go back to my cold cache referrals. Nope, I was in my cold hard cache chapter here. So let me go into the cold hard cache chapter. So let's say that I'm going to go to Edit Content. And I'd like to put a video right up here at the top, right in this section right here. So in order to do that, what we need to do is first we need to host that video somewhere. Usually a good place to do that is YouTube. Another good place to do that would be someplace like Vimeo. Any place that allows you to host a video and gives you what is called an embed code. That is what we're looking for. So I happen to host all of the videos that I use on YouTube. So let me move this screen out of the way for a second. And let me go up to YouTube. So I'm going to go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, where all these are. And let's say that I just want to host this, this Invite a Visitor. I'd like to host this Invite a Visitor video up on the site. So all I need to do is, let me pause that video. I have to go to the Share button. And on the Share button here, you have Embed. This right here is what you're looking for, this embed code. Now you'll notice this video is pretty huge. That's probably bigger than my page. So what I can do is I can also click on Show More here, and I can also change the size. So I can either choose one of these, the custom sizes here, or let's say I want it to be pretty small, and 200 by, and it kept the ratio for me, 200 by 150. Also have the option for including other things. And now it has changed my embed code. So I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to copy it. Go back to my edit web page. Now my little trick is I always kind of cheat by putting in a placeholder so I know where I want the thing that I'm putting in. You go to your source code. What I'm doing is I'm finding my placeholder here, and I'm going to replace that line with the iframe code, that embed code from the other site. Now if I go back out of the source, you'll see I now have this iframe placeholder in the site. I'm going to save this. It brings me to the preview, and now you can see I have a video that's embedded on the site. I'm going to close out of here. Let's publish this. And if I go back to my live site, right here at the top of my screen, I have a nice, wonderful video embedded in my site. You could do things like do interviews in your chapter. You could have members 60-second presentations, weekly presentations, record some of those, record a meeting, and you can embed it right up there on your regional website, on your chapter website. So I hope that answers your question. All right. Are there any other questions? I would be happy to answer those questions now. All right. If there's no more questions, I would like to thank everybody for being here today. I definitely look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. And again, a good referral for me is to please let other members in your region and your chapters know about these webinars. Our next webinar will be on the visitors from invitation to follow-up, and that will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Have an absolutely fantastic day, everybody, and happy connecting.